This is JILLIANA Ranicar-Breese, and I'm here in Tangier with Stephen Heiblim, who is from New York. Stephen, yeah, you've been living in Tangier for 10 years? Yes? Tell me, what made you come to live here for the rest of your life?
All right. Well, I came to Morocco in 1980 the first time, and it was with no intention of remaining here for my life, the rest of my life. And I traveled all around Morocco. And I'm afraid to say that, like so many here, a lot of it had to do with sex. Even though I did like Moroccan culture, the look of it, and so I kept coming back. I came 9 times.
9 times for sex?
1980s. When you're young, I mean, it's...
How young were you?
Well, quite young. That's, like the 80s, that's, 40 years ago.
Right.
So, anyway, then I stopped coming to Morocco, and in the 80s, I was going a lot to Mexico, and I was visiting Mexico a lot. After 9/11, I decided to leave New York, and I moved to Mexico City, and I had gotten myself professionalized as a teacher of English and gotten a degree and all of that and that. So
You mean like TEFL?
Yes.
Okay.
So I taught English, and one of my students was the chairman and president of Telmex International. Telmex being the prime Mexican telephone company, and the man who runs it and owns it is usually the 3rd or 4th richest man in the world. Anyway, but my student was the chairman of Telmex International, because the company had become so big they had to split it. And I was leading a very nice life. Mexico is a delightful place, and I love the cuisine, and can cook quite a few Mexican things myself. And they have marvelous museums there. I made many friends and stayed there for 6 years. Then it was time for me to retire. And so I wanted my Social Security, of course, and so I decided to get to know Europe more, because I had lived 4 years in Japan and visited Asian countries, and I said, well, I don't know Europe that well. So I arrived first in Portugal, and I liked the look of Portugal, and I was there in Lisbon, a very elegant city, but I hadn't reckoned with the fact that Portugal is not a Mediterranean country, warm and welcoming. It's an Atlantic culture, and the people are rather cold. I made no friends in Portugal.
Did you speak Portuguese?
No,
Because
but
of course
most of
you
them-
spoke Spanish.
I spoke Spanish, and most of the people I met wanted to study English. But they were not interested, no matter what I said. Oh, let's go to dinner. No. Let's go to a movie. No. Everything was no. And so I realized I had intended to stay there, a couple of years. But after about 9 months, I said, I haven't made one friend here. I'm moving on. So I had not yet decided where I was moving on to, but I said...
But you knew you weren't going back to New York.
Right. Oh, no. I was not going back to New York or the United States. So I decided that, let me take a break and go to Tangier.
For the sex.
Well, yes. And then I arrived in Tangier, and I already knew it. I had, stayed here quite a few times. So I said, well, why don't I just stay here? And then it will be easy for me to travel from here to different spots in Europe and get to know them, which is what I have been doing. And I visited all of the major cities of Spain, and In Italy, went to Venice and Naples, and I had been already to Rome, and then I've been to others, Prague and Berlin and in Paris and many cities that I've gone to now. So, but still there are many I'd like to see. So that is why I'm here. And it's
So you never left?
so I got a base here and had an apartment to live in and fill with my acquisitions. And so I like it here. The people are friendly. There are things that if you've grown up, because I spent most of my life has been in New York City, living in New York City, and so if you've lived there, you are invariably an impatient person. And so sometimes Moroccans can really, delay everything until your patience is gone totally. But I work hard against that, and also I have mellowed with age. So, but though I can still be quite bitchy. But anyway.
Sounds like you know yourself.
Yes, I definitely know myself. So here I am I haven't been on a major trip for a while, but I am planning to visit Marrakesh, or rather Fez it's going to be, with a man who was sent to me by a friend in San Francisco, and he's coming with a French friend of his, and we're going to go to Fez. And then my brothers, I've convinced them to visit Morocco finally, and we'll probably go to Marrakesh and then get a car and go through all of the towns way in the south.
Do you speak Arabic?
Shwiya.
Was that
very
little? Yeah.
I speak, what most people speak here is Derija, which is a dialect of Arabic, which has been combined over the years with French and Spanish,
right,
and now a lot of English words.
Yes.
And, the French, since this was a French colony, is the official language still. If you have to do documents of any kind, it should be in French.
Oh, right. And you speak French, of course.
Yes, but young Moroccans are very tired of that, and they are moving quickly and demanding that the second language be English.
Oh.
So things are changing, and you meet quite a few Moroccans who are eager to speak to you in English. And but we Americans are so dominating, and most Americans wouldn't dream of learning another language.
Anyway, we'll talk about your exciting life in New York in the next section. Thank you.